When I said at the beginning you would open the refrigerator door and look at the data plate, let's say for whatever reason the customer had pulled the refrigerator out. Guys, every unit that has R600a will have a warning sticker similar to the one right here. And it has the symbol for R600a, flammable refrigerant, and it has a warning, risk of fire, flammable materials, isobutane, R600, cyclopentane. Also, on your compressor, this symbol is on all R600 compressors, and up here in the data of the compressor, it will say R600a. So the compressors are definitely specific for that refrigerant. Now, the other thing you'll find, and this is one of those things that still isn't as down pat as I'd like it to be, on the process tubes that a technician would be expected to pierce the system, like I have here. These tubes will have a colored paint. I believe it is to be red, that when you're through, they have to be recolored red. They can either be painted or a plastic like shrink wrap. We'll come up with something once this gets a little further along. But the manufacturers are to put a colored tip on the process tubes to let you know, one, hey, this is a flammable refrigerant, and two, this is where you go in the system at. What I would do now is go ahead and put a temporary access port on both my high side and my low side and attach to my gauges. And these are the R600 gauges I was telling you about. We're currently at about maybe 12. I was looking at it upside down a while ago. We're right at 12, 12.5 PSI equalized pressure. Now, if I'm going to remove the refrigerant, like I said, I'm in a big enough room, I don't need the fan going. So once I've tapped into the system, making sure my gauges are closed, I'm going to get my recovery bag, unscrew the cap, and attach my yellow hose to the recovery bag. Now guys, the bag has a Schrader in it, so when you put it in and you get ready to take it outside, you don't have to worry it's not coming back out unless you remove the core, and we'll talk about that later. So you're going to go ahead and attach to your temporary recovery bag, and then you'll notice the bag's empty. All right, with R600a, approximately 50 to 60% of the charge can remain in the refrigerant oil in the compressor. So when you open this up, you're going to open this up, and there goes my R600. You're going to open both sides, and when we're through, this bag might get an inch. It's not going to boom, but you need to let the refrigerant flow out into the bag for 10 minutes. And okay, and I'm sure he'll speed this up so you don't have to sit here and watch me for 10 minutes. But while this is happening, like right now, we're already reading 0 and 0. I can still hear it hissing in a little. What you're going to need to do during this 10 minutes, so during the 10 minutes, maybe every 1 or 2 minutes, just reach over and bump your compressor. And what you're doing is you're breaking loose the R600 from the oils. And you're going to let this go for 10 minutes. Now, during this time, we don't need to be sitting here just watching the clock. What we can be doing is going ahead and removing our electrical from the compressor. In the event you are working on a refrigerator that has a capacitor in the machine compartment, you must first discharge that capacitor prior to beginning the recovery of the refrigerant. Now this one didn't, so I didn't have to worry about it, but if you are, you need to go ahead and get that taken care of. I got my electrical off, remove my ground wire. The other thing I can do while I'm waiting my 10 minutes out is I know I'm going to have to replace my dryer. It's a whole lot easier to clean before I cut. So go ahead and clean your copper up where you're going to cut it to put your new dryer on. I'm going to also need to cut my suction line. So I'm going to come over here and cut it up high enough that you can put your lock ring on it. Now, as we all know, every unit's a little different. This is a small top mount R600a. Just happened to be the first R600a product I got that we could shoot some video on. R600 will be used probably in our full line. Right now we're waiting for the EPA to raise the official limit from 57 grams to 150 grams. But right now we happen to know for a fact there are a couple of kimchi machines coming into the country that are already R600A. They're below the 57 gram limit, so they can come in now. You'll notice my leak detector is here, and I've got it run back over there. I put it as far back and put a little towel. Hopefully the noise, I can barely hear it now. In the customer's home, I would want to hear it loud because I want to know if I've got a leak. But for the purposes of the video, we've kind of muted it down so that you could hear what was being said. Okay, our 10 minutes has passed. I've bumped it. I'm not hearing anything. 10 minutes has gone by. We've got our refrigerant out. So what we're going to do, first, we're going to go ahead and close our manifold gauge set. And we're going to remove our common hose off of the bag. At this point in time, guys, I would take and carry this outside, take a core removal tool with you or cap. You do not want to put one of these caps on this bag because when you roll it up to store it, the ends are sharp. This is a smooth, easy cap. Always replace it with a smooth one. Do not put the sharp one. These bags are a little bit expensive and we don't want to have to be replacing them every day. So at this point, I would take this bag outside, make sure I'm away from any ignition source, pull my cap, use my core removal tool, remove the core. Starting at the opposite end, I would begin releasing the isobutane into the atmosphere, which is perfectly legal. Once I have fully gotten all the refrigerant out of my bag, I'd put my core back in it, the soft round cap, and go ahead and leave this in the truck. I'm done with it. So that's how you get the R600A out of the refrigerator.